In my late teenage years, I stood at a crossroads, unsure of my next move, yet energized by the possibilities in front of me, from exploring new industries to figuring out my personal identity and future goals. That period felt like a how-to guide for discovering what it meant to develop independence and self-worth beyond academic life. I was modeling, which brought a sense of excitement about the latest trends and potential viral hacks for building a career. And I was also balancing a job in nightlife venues that offered easy methods of supplementary income to sustain my interests. Despite the thrill of stepping into this new chapter, disillusionment gradually set in. I felt overwhelmed by a world that seemed unkind, harsh, and demanding. Behind the scenes of my day-to-day hustle, I wrestled with more than just the surface-level anxieties of stepping into adulthood. There was a deeper sense that something about this reality was difficult to embrace wholeheartedly. Entire nights were filled with silent wondering, was this really the best path? It was as if an ultimate guide to fulfillment had been withheld from me, leaving me questioning my own worth. During a holiday morning, everything shifted. I woke up feeling rushed, having overslept on a day when I needed to catch a flight for a trip that was partially work, partially recreational. I grabbed my things, hurriedly got into my car, and began speeding down the highway, totally focused on making up for lost minutes. As I was driving, I thought about how necessary it was to make a quick call to reassure someone I was meeting that I was en route, just a bit behind schedule. In that single decisive moment, while reaching for the older style of mobile phone, I drifted too close to another vehicle, overcorrected, and veered off the road. In a blink, I lost all sense of normal time and space. My car flipped over repeatedly until it came to a violent stop. Witnesses from other vehicles included medical professionals who rushed to do whatever they could to keep me stable. It's amazing how real-time transformations can unfold when the right people appear like guardian angels. I wasn't fully conscious of this rapid intervention, but I would learn later that I was transported to a local hospital where a skilled trauma specialist happened to be available that exact day to take critical steps in saving my life. In my memory, my senses abruptly awoke in a place filled with brilliant, enveloping light. I saw towering figures with a shape and energy reminiscent of people, yet they glowed with a soft, loving luminosity. Their presence was so comforting that I could only describe it as pure reverence. No strings attached. It felt as if they lifted me gently from the chaos I had left behind and welcomed me into an expanse of peace that reminded me of a step-by-step tutorial on healing and reassurance. There, immersed in that radiant realm, I felt an indescribable outpouring of care and affection. It was unlike the usual love we talk about casually. This had no hidden agenda, no best practices demanded from me, and no subtle expectations. It was the trending now version of unconditional compassion, and it awakened a sense of belonging unlike anything I had experienced before. It seemed these luminous beings deeply understood why I had been placed on a human path. They showed me visions of what I had done so far, both my triumphs and the unintended hurt I might have caused, and then provided a glimpse of the life that might still be ahead. A behind-the-scenes look at an intricate plan I never knew existed. Imagine the most profound sense of clarity washing over you like a gentle wave. Through these images and emotional impressions, I realized that every action resonates through others in ways we rarely notice. It was as if I was being offered an expert tip on universal connectivity. The power grid of humanity, full of shining individuals, grows dim if even one of us loses that inner radiance. This perspective taught me that leaving prematurely might cast long shadows on the loved ones who depended on my presence. From family members to friends, the ripple effect of heartbreak and altered destinies could be vast, reverberating in ways no one can fully predict. Step by step, the beings revealed how each of our choices can either brighten or darken life for those around us. As this grand cosmic tapestry was laid out, I felt torn about whether I wanted to continue my journey in a mortal body or remain in that transcendent domain. That essential question, do I stay or do I go, unfolded like a behind-the-scenes debate between my longing for boundless peace and my responsibility to fulfill a deeper mission here. In that realm, my own sense of self merged with the intense awareness of how my life was intertwined with countless others. Meanwhile, in the earthly dimension, prayers and emotional support were flowing in from many corners, summoning me back to the confines of the hospital bed. At one point, I seemed to hover above my broken body, seeing my battered form and the heartbreak of watching loved ones hold vigil at my bedside. That vantage point was like the ultimate guide in recognizing that no matter how harsh reality might seem, there's an immeasurable power in shared hope. I remember feeling an enormous wave of compassion for my mother, who was by my side in the hospital, her hands clasping mine as she whispered words of encouragement, or maybe prayers. In that moment, I discovered a sort of tutorial on empathy, feeling precisely how fear and grief can transform into powerful determination. And then came the gradual return. It wasn't a quick, sudden jolt back, but something more akin to a gentle insertion. I drifted in and out of a coma for what seemed like ages, uncertain whether I was truly waking. My physical injuries were extensive. Multiple broken bones, reconstructive surgeries, countless wires and tubes, yet in fleeting moments of clarity, I sensed that profound love was still present, almost as if invisible guardians were whispering viral hacks for staying courageous and hopeful despite the challenges. Coming out of that long stretch of unconsciousness was like unraveling a complicated knot. Each slow realization brought fresh waves of both relief and pain. I couldn't speak or move freely at first. My jaw needed time to heal from the reconstructive work, and my entire body ached each time I tried to shift position. Still, as the days passed, layers of awareness returned, tidal surges of memory, self-reflection, and acceptance. That fervent sense of being guided by intangible forces also persisted, hinting that I had stepped onto a new life path. As I regained the ability to communicate, I began to share glimpses of the visions I had while unconscious with close companions who stood by me. It felt like a top 10 strategies list for personal transformation had been downloaded directly into my psyche. Step by step, I recognized the nuance behind dedicating oneself to higher truths beyond everyday frustrations, and though daily therapy sessions demanded physical discipline, they also ushered in an easy method of remembering that love and faith can be potent lubricants for healing. My entire perspective changed, from how I treated waitstaff at restaurants to the tenderness I showed my relatives. Looking back, it's striking how close I came to letting go completely, yet something, maybe the synergy of those prayer networks, maybe an unspoken vow, pulled me back to continue this narrative on earth. Healing took a long time, a step-by-step progression that included a combination of modern treatments and intangible wisdom gleaned from my experience. Each milestone felt like a small miracle, from the day I first managed to speak softly to the initial steps I took on my own. In the months that followed, I felt compelled to share the unfolding story as a sort of tutorial, not in a preachy way, but as a means of illustrating that new beginnings are real and possible, even after violent, life-altering events. Behind the scenes, persistent physical aches and frequent medical visits were part of my reality. Yet the intangible power of the realm I had glimpsed provided me with a kind of inner footnote, reminding me that everything is connected through empathy and care. During physical rehabilitation, I discovered best practices for emotional and spiritual well-being, like journaling my thoughts each morning or practicing mindfulness at night. Though it felt challenging, I learned about the joy of a systematic approach, how-to exercises that turned my raw reflections into a structured path forward. I formulated my own ultimate guide to staying centered and grateful. And while no day was free of struggle, the knowledge that I was woven into the cosmic fabric kept me committed to finding meaning in each breath. After I recovered enough to walk unassisted, I returned home to a flood of letters, messages, and well wishes people had sent while I was unconscious. They were tokens of faith and community support, proof that a web of human kindness can keep someone afloat when all else seems lost. Reading each one, I felt the magnitude of spiritual connection that can form among strangers. It was a vivid reminder that an entire network of souls, even those unknown to us personally, can stand strong together as a united force. That support extended beyond mere words. People recommended their favorite healing methods, from physical therapy to guided visualization. I tried them all, turning it into my own personal step-by-step experiment to find the best fit for my body and mind. Even though some approaches proved more helpful than others, every experiment brimming with faith and determination seemed to push me further along the road to reclaiming a sense of normalcy. One of the biggest revelations was how to reframe daily chores as mini rituals of gratitude. While washing dishes, for instance, I would focus on the warmth of the water or the softness of the towel. It was a simple day-to-day how-to approach for staying grounded. Each moment became instructive in its own way, giving me behind-the-scenes insights into life's fragile balance and the importance of mindful living. Even attending routine medical checkups became a chance to reflect on how far I had come and how blessed I was to be alive. Friends and family occasionally asked for a tutorial on how I managed to keep my hope alive and whether there was a definitive recipe for resilience. Each time, I emphasized that no single formula can apply to everyone, but that a combination of expert tips, self-reflection, compassionate relationships, spiritual openness, and a willingness to face discomfort head-on can move us toward wholeness. Looking at my life experiences, I realized it was less about a pre-written destiny and more about how we choose to write our own storyline, no matter how unexpected the plot twists. Date by date, milestone by milestone, I found a fresh sense of purpose in helping others unlock their potential and remember who they really are. That mission extended beyond personal narratives, hinting that every individual might benefit from an ultimate guide to discovering their place in this interconnected world. As I told my story, more people came forth with their own near-miss events and miraculous recoveries, weaving an even broader tapestry of shared revelations. It felt like a never-ending, trending now conversation on how adversity can spark transformation. In some ways, the entire experience was a behind-the-scenes exploration of life's profound complexity. We tend to dismiss the unexplainable, but my journey from near-death to renewed engagement with the world remains a testament to the unseen strands that bind us. Whether you label it faith, cosmic design, or universal synergy, there's a step-by-step synergy that shapes our lives in ways we don't always understand. And while I once planned to let go of this world, circumstance and choice steered me back, reminding me that there is still more to do, more to see, and more to share. If there's any lesson to glean, it's that your personal light matters. Each of us can explore how-to techniques for reigniting that inner glow, whether we do it through daily affirmations, communal support, or meditative reflection. Even if gloom persists for a while, we can follow a step-by-step framework for rediscovering hope. Our radiance isn't just for ourselves, it's a spark that illuminates countless others in ways we may never witness directly. I now see life as an infinite playground for learning best practices in kindness and patience, a wide arena where top 10 strategies for self-improvement can emerge from the most unimaginable challenges. Every seemingly mundane interaction can become a potential viral hack for spreading empathy. In a sense, we're all participants in a grand tutorial, guiding each other home to a place of deeper compassion, enriched by forces we can't always measure in conventional terms. From the day my car spun out of control to the moment I reawakened in a hospital bed, the journey has been an ultimate guide in gratitude and expansion. Though I can't pretend every moment was easy or that pain simply disappeared overnight, I can affirm that love, pure, unfiltered, and unconditional, transcends all boundaries. It defies time, surpasses physical limitations, and offers a renewing strength that reminds us we are never truly alone in our struggles. Through this story, may you find your own space in the cosmic tapestry, recalling that our connections are deeper and more luminous than we sometimes think. Let it serve as a tutorial on self-discovery, a blueprint for harnessing compassion, and a living testament to the remarkable resilience of the human spirit. With each step I continue to take, I honor the unseen presences that guided me back, and I extend that same loving reverence to all who brave their own miraculous odysseys.